Okay, picture this. It's Tuesday the 1st of December, my 23rd birthday. I'm chilling at home with my parents because #lockdown life, and my friend suddenly texts me, "Have you read the first 2 chapters of Chain of Iron?" Huh? What on earth are you on about? Check Twitter, she says. Cassie's just released the first 2 chapters online. I scream. This is the best birthday present yet. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna analyse and break down those first 2 chapters of Chain of Iron that Cassie released as a surprise at the start of this month. So I actually had someone message me on Instagram asking if I could analyse these first 2 chapters, similar to when I did my video series when I analysed and broke down every single chapter of Chain of Gold. So I did a poll and literally every single person voted that they did in fact want this video. So here we are. I reread the chapters, got my highlighters out, put my best English lit graduate hat on and tried to analyse the 2 chapters in incredibly dense detail. 3 words, Jessie and Lucy. But let's start at the beginning first. So in the preface of Chain of Iron, Cassie actually says thank you to Rick Riordan for letting her use the name D'Angelo. So we can kind of assume that D'Angelo will be the surname of the new Shadowhunter character, who is the Italian girl visiting the London Institute on her travel year. So Cassie has revealed that this new Shadowhunter will have the first name of Philomena, and she wrote this massive Tumblr post about the inspiration for the name, the origin of the name, and any other reasons why Cassie's named the character as she did. So I will leave that explanation in the description below. I've got a few Italian friends that aren't too keen on this name. They are a bit unsure why she chose this name, and even with the explanation that Cassie's given, they still aren't quite convinced by it, but I'm going to wait and see what this character brings to the novel, and then I will judge her then. So after the preface, we get part 1, which includes a nice little prologue. So as soon as I read the sentence, "It was strange and novel to have a body again," I knew exactly who the narrator was. Belial. I swear it has literally only been 4 months, and since then this guy's managed to get a body to possess, and now he's walking back on Earth. We left the last hours reasonably okay, and we've come back to this huge ass mess. Belial aside, Cassie mentions the cold particles of snow that are hovering around him as he walks through London. This is confirmation that this book is indeed set in wintertime. As I said in my Everything We Know So Far About Chain of Iron video, Cassie has confirmed that Chain of Iron will be set in the wintertime, and I'm so excited to see this change of season. I feel like hardly any of the Shadowhunter books are set in the winter seasons. When Belial kills the mundane man, I got some huge Twilight vibes. I'm thinking like Eclipse when Victoria is trying to raise a new vampire army, and because they've just been turned, they're all really hungry and they go just like kill loads of people in alleyways. I got huge Twilight vibes from this bit. And at the end of the prologue, when Belial says that he's seeking James Herondale and Cordelia Carstairs, I literally had to close my laptop screen for 2 minutes, breathe, calm myself down before I could carry on. These 2 are going to be in so much danger, and my body is not ready. After the prologue, we get chapter 1, The Bright Web, and Lucy is going to Chiswick House to hang out with Grace. My first thought was, kind of weird, but then I remembered that Cassie did confirm that we will be getting more Lucy and Grace scenes in Chain of Iron, and we all know why, because they're trying to bring back Jessie. I did pick up on the fact that Lucy uses Balios to draw the carriage, which if you remember in Clockwork Princess is the same horse that Will Herondale rides to Kadir Idris to rescue Tessa from Mortman. I just think that's a really cute detail. I think it's really sweet that Lucy is using the same horse that her father used to rescue the love of his life to hopefully go rescue the love of hers. As Lucy walks through Chiswick, she notices the ruined statues of Virgil and Sophocles, which if you remember were also mentioned in Chain of Gold, but going back even further, they were the statues that were destroyed in Clockwork Princess when Benedict Lightwood became Benedict Lightworm, thrashed the whole place, and Gideon and Gabriel had to kill their father with a bow and arrow. Lucy confirms that 4 months have passed between the last events in Chain of Gold and these new events in Chain of Iron, which is great. We already knew that there would be roughly this amount of time. Thank you, Lucy, for confirming this. She then mentions that herself and Grace have recently been experimenting with necromancy to try and bring Jessie back to life. You can tell that they are both really dedicated to Jesse, Grace because he's her brother, and Lucy because she's in love with him. But I don't think she knows it quite just yet. I want to pick up on the fact that Lucy is still trying to identify her power over the dead. She's really concerned, she doesn't quite have it down, and I'm hoping that in this book she will finally see the lengths and the limitations that she can use her power, and we can go with Lucy on her journey to discover her necromantic skills. There's a mention of the Blackthorn family sword, and Cassie has confirmed that this sword will become more prominent and more important in the Last Hours series. For me, I can't really remember this sword being of particular importance in any of the other Shadowhunter Chronicles books, so if you guys have any theories about this sword, please leave them in the comments below. The only thing I can think is that it might be some sort of like talisman between the dead and the living, an item that might help Lucy and Grace bring Jesse back from the dead. As far as I can remember, please correct me if I'm wrong though, this sword doesn't appear in the Dark Artifices, which makes me very, very sad, because imagine if Emma had Cortana and Julian had the Blackthorn family sword. Absolute couple goals. Suddenly, Lucy mentions that the Cordelia wedding is taking place tomorrow. What? To open the book the night before the Cordelia wedding? I was not prepared for that. I honestly thought in Chain of Iron they would still be preparing for the wedding. I did not expect to be thrown right into the wedding deep end in chapter 1. This is followed by a great quote from Lucy. She'd no idea Grace was interested in reading or in anything else besides torturing men and raising Jesse from the dead. I'm sorry, but this is comedic gold from Lucy. And as soon as Lucy and Grace said the word necromancy, I literally just thought, oh shit, here we go again. A Herondale and a Blackthorn trying to raise another Blackthorn from the dead. This can't go well, can it? The chapter then changes point of view from Lucy and Grace to Cordelia. We are suddenly transported to Cordelia's house, where Riza is fixing her hair in preparation for her to go sledding. There's a mention of Cordelia's hair being dark red. In fact, I think the colour is mentioned at least 3 times in one page, and I can't help but think if, like me, Cassie is sick of people drawing Cordelia with ginger orange hair. The amount of fan arts that I have clicked on thinking that it is Clary for the artist to say that it is in fact Cordelia. Stop whitewashing Cordelia and stop giving her ginger hair. Okay. End of rant. So Riza is using pearl combs in Cordelia's hair, which immediately made me think of when Will added pearls to Tessa's bracelet on their 30th wedding anniversary. Could this be some form of foreshadowing towards a genuinely happy marriage? As a plot device, I would hesitantly say yes, but I am very aware that anything could happen in this book. Riza puts Cordelia in a green velvet dress, and I am so happy because I know she will look banging in it. It's a nice bit of character development. If you remember at the start of Chain of Gold, Cordelia was wearing incredibly unflattering colours and styles and fits, which did not suit her skin tone or her hair at all. Step in Anna Lightwood, who totally decked Cordelia out in the fanciest of dresses in deep, dark, sultry colours. Cordelia looked 20 out of 10, and the rest is history. Riza arranging Cortana down Cordelia's back gives me life. There's some big Emma Carstairs vibes here with fixing Cortana to a dress. Honestly, these two girls, I just love them so much. So Cordelia mentions how she's been extremely busy recently. She's been doing things like spending her afternoons at the Devil's Tavern and going for tea at Anna Lightwood's. Again, a moment of appreciation for her growth. At the start of Chain of Gold, Cordelia was very much the outsider. Her family was just moving to London. They didn't really know anyone, but little over 4 months later, she's fully immersed in the London Shadowhunter lifestyle like she was never away in the first place. Sona comes in clutching her round belly, and I can't help but think about that fan theory that says she won't survive childbirth and that she will in fact die in the last hours. I have actually spoken about Sona's fate in my video discussing that misleading family tree, and if I'm honest, it doesn't look that good. It's mentioned that the Carstairs family expected Elias home 5 days ago. So where the hell is he? Also in my family tree video, I do bring up the fact that Elias's death date is different on this family tree. According to this tree, he is meant to have actually died before Chain of Gold and Chain of Iron take place. I am suddenly briefly reminded of something my friend said a while ago, that she thinks the Elias in Chain of Gold is actually an imposter and the real Elias died a long time ago. I'm trying not to think about this theory too much because it just blows my mind. So I'm going to leave that with you guys, push it aside, and we're going to move on. Alistair Carstairs appears, and Cordelia picks up on the fact that suddenly only a few months ago, the merry thieves suddenly started to become increasingly angry at Alistair for no apparent reason. So if you remember, it was revealed that it was actually Alistair who spread that devastating rumour about Gideon and Charlotte around Shadowhunter Academy, which ultimately led to Matthew doing what he did in Ghost of the Shadow Market, which in turn spiraled his depression, alcoholism, and general just depression. Matthew then mentions that Christopher has been experimenting and trying to ignite gunpowder in the presence of ruins. This would thus enable Shadowhunters to be able to use mundane guns. Going way back to the start of Chain of Gold, I remember that in the lab there is actually a really old gun which Henry and Christopher are working on together to get to try and ignite in the presence of ruins. Could Christopher then manage to make this gun work in Chain of Iron, and could this be one of the weapons that helps bring down the greater demon Belial? Again, I don't know, it's just speculation, but I feel like Christopher's endeavours with gunpowder and ruins will somehow be important along the timeline. Matthew then reveals that he's not actually taking Cordelia to go sledding, he's dropping her off at her own bachelorette party. There's a joke about how the hair rule isn't actually that scandalous anymore because Cordelia has been there so many times, and Matthew mentions that he should in fact take her to the Inn of the Shaved Werewolf. Everything seems like a joke until you remember the fan theory that Matthew could in fact become a werewolf. Please don't be alarmed here, but as an English lit major, I have to bring up the fact that the shaved could be a pun to Matthew getting his mark stripped, as in Matthew gets his mark stripped, then he becomes a werewolf. I'm so sorry, I just had to let you guys know. Malcolm Fade appears and I literally scream at my book. I get 10 times more angry than I was when I first opened this PDF, and then I remember that it's perfectly plausible that Matthew might find out what actually happened to Annabelle Blackthorn in this book. I feel 1% less angry towards Malcolm Fade, but I still hate his guts and I can't wait to press next on my keyboard. Cassie then describes the decorations in the Hell Rule, and Hypatia says they are celebrating Lilith, which in my opinion is like the worst party theme. I cannot deal with this bitch again. I don't know why, but I always attribute different princes of hell with different books. So obviously Lilith was in the Mortal Instruments, as well as Asmodeus. Belial was in Chain of Gold and also will be in Chain of Iron. Samuel was in the Eldest Curses. Therefore, I don't know if Cassie just mentioning the Herald decorations just for effect, just to like world build, or if Lilith is actually going to play a part in this book. I would assume no, because she already does her thing in the Mortal Instruments, and I feel like this series is very much Belial's series. But I don't know, there's a whole ass paragraph about Lilith here, and it's making me slightly nervous. There's a nice allusion to City of Fallen Angels when Cordelia recites the importance of the angels placing the ritual on baby shadow hunters to protect them from demonic possession. Cast your mind all the way back to when Clary brought Jace back and this ritual wasn't performed, which then allowed him to get possessed by Lilith. I think this is just like a nice throwaway allusion to her previous books, and I've said in previous videos I really do like when Cassie does this because I feel like myself and other hardcore Shadowhunter fans really appreciate tidbits like this, and it just brings the whole world together and you just feel so warm and fuzzy inside. Matthew then points out that Anna and Lucy are waiting for Cordelia in the Hell Rule, and is this not the best bachelorette party ever? Matthew then goes to say goodbye to Cordelia and they end up like low-key kissing, and it's so awkward and so weird, and I know this is the start of the love triangle that I do not want and my body is not ready for. I just can't cope. Matthew then skulks away and gets off with Kellington in the corner. So Cassie has confirmed that in Chain of Iron we are going to find out more about Kellington, and for me this does strengthen the theory that Matthew could become a member of the Prayer to Lupus and also becomes a werewolf. Is Kellington Matthew's new love interest? We're just gonna have to wait until March to find out. Wayland the Smith is alive? What? Like, I don't even know what this means, but I feel like it's important. I don't know why, but I just always assumed it was like some Gandalf hobbit guy, super old, super long beard, dead or just like creepily immortal, but just not really a humanoid. But suddenly it's revealed that he's alive and kicking. He's having a good time. Perhaps Cordelia pays Wayland the Smith a visit when Cortana starts to burn her hand. That is the only reason I can think of here. The fairy then mentions that Wayland the Smith lives under the hill. I suddenly remember that Fairyland is also referred to as the land under the hill. Is Wayland the Smith chilling out in Fairy? The last important note from chapter 1 is Lucy wearing the Blackthorn locket. Oh my god, this girl is so deep in love and she just has no idea. Chapter 2, and we join the merry thieves celebrating James's stag do at the Devil Tavern. James contemplating removing the bracelet I screamed, just do it! My theory, he takes off the bracelet before he walks down the aisle, realizes that he is actually in love with Cordelia, doesn't want to marry her under false pretenses, so in turn jilts her at the altar, which she then takes as him not wanting to marry her even as a friend, causing more distress, more angst, and more heartbreak. This is my current theory. Let me know what you guys think below. Clarabella the mermaid. This just seems so random and just I didn't know what was going on. I can't see how this is important, whether it was just like world building and pacing, but it felt very, very weird, very out of place. Let me know what you guys think about this. The merry thieves then go upstairs and James finds himself going back into the shadow realm. Don't hate me, but I kind of can't be arsed with this again. I'm just not as interested in his character as I am in the other characters in the book. The only thing to point out here is the fact that the shadow realm isn't in fact destroyed anymore. It is alive and kicking, and there is a huge ass fortress in it. I don't know what this means, but I know that it cannot be a good thing. After the scene in the Devil Tavern, the book then goes back to Lucy and Cordelia. At first, I thought we were going back into Cordelia's perspective, but then Cordelia leaves the carriage and it's revealed that we are in fact going to hear Lucy's thoughts. Lucy just low-key drops in that Anna Lightwood left shortly after midnight with a vampire called Lily, and you know that it's Lily Chen. What the hell do I do with this piece of information? Like, I cannot compute this. My friends know that Lily is actually one of my favourite characters in the whole Shadowhunter Chronicles universe. For me, she is the most underrated character, and honestly, I'm so happy for both of them. They both deserve this. But also, I got a bit sad because I remembered Ariadne, but then I realised that she would probably end up with Anna anyway, so I was like, I'm gonna let Lily have this. Jessie then appears in the carriage and Lucy's lip curls when she hears his voice. This girl is in so deep and she doesn't even realise it yet. She mentions that she's seen Jessie almost every night for the last 4 months. My god. Then Jessie says that he made sure Lucy got into the hell roll okay. My heart just exploded. And then Lucy mentions that she's let Jessie read her writing. I had to take 5 minutes because I couldn't with this whole thing. It just completely tore my heart to shreds. Lucy telling Jessie that he should write a book about a very devoted sister and a very devoted friend. Oh, Lucy. Jessie then turns his palm over. She takes her gloves off and she touches his hand. I needed actual like CPR resuscitation at this point. I was just on the floor. Just when you think these two couldn't get any more heart destroying. Jessie then mentions that he would love to have seen Lucy in her Sojourner's dress. This ship is just gonna break my heart and I'm gonna be so happy for it. So that's the end of my analysis video, and breathe. My emotions are already such a mess, and that was only the first 2 chapters. I just know this book is going to completely destroy me, and I can already tell that Lucy and Jessie are going to break my heart. Give this video a like if you have enjoyed it, and remember to subscribe if you haven't already. If you are after more Chain of Iron content, I will leave my everything we know so far about Chain of Iron video in the description below. Equally, if you want to recap Chain of Gold but can't be bothered to reread the book itself, remember that I have my Chain of Gold analysis series where, much like this video, I break down each chapter into important references. A quick disclaimer here, I would say the first 4 videos of this series aren't the best in terms of editing and recording wise. That is because they were the first 4 videos that I ever recorded and edited myself on YouTube. I know that my editing has got so much better, but please just stick with it. However, I like to think the content is just as good in all of them, so please just ignore my massive breaks between sentences and bad editing and just try and listen to the content. I promise it's all there. So let me know in the comments what you thought of these 2 chapters. I would love to hear your thoughts and feelings, and equally I would love to know if Lucy and Jessie destroyed you as much as they destroyed me. I'll see you guys next time.